Hey guys, it's your girl Alicia, aka Geek XX Chic, and it's here, guys. We are at the finale of WandaVision, and I'm super I was gonna say super sad, but I guess I'm not. I'm happy that we're finally getting to a place where we're either going to wrap up one storyline or potentially segue into whatever's gonna come next. But I'm also sad, obviously, because this has been such a unexpectedly great show. And I just mean unexpectedly in the sense of I didn't really know what to expect from the show at all. It just, yeah, if you watch the very first episode that I did, I was just like, I don't know what to expect from this. I know it's Disney, so it's not going to be terrible, but I really don't know, because Wanda and Vision were definitely more of the B plot characters throughout most of the show, or the Avengers movies. So I didn't know what to expect, but this has been such a great adventure in storytelling and just taking very real things in life, but also adding this crazy but fun side of fantasy and imagination. And it's so good. It's really, really, really good. If this show doesn't get awards, then the entire system is rigged. All right, so I've talked enough, guys. Time to get into this episode, but before we do, you know the drill. If you've been here before and you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when I do more reactions. Obviously, WandaVision is done after this episode for now, but I will be doing Falcon and Winter Soldier, which will be premiering in just a little over 2 weeks. So if you want to watch along with me when I do that, please go ahead and join the fam. Plus, I also do other Marvel shows, which I will link either up there or in the comment section or something. All right. Without further ado, guys, let's get into this episode right about now.
My powers work out here, or did you forget?
No, dear. I'm counting on it.
Yep. Ooh! Wow. She wants this. Wanda, take a minute and figure out what she's trying to do.
I take power from the undeserving.
Ah.
It's kind of my thing.
Sweetie.
Surrender your magic to someone who knows what to do with it.
She's so condescending.
You keep this pathetic little corner of the world all to yourself. What do you say?
So soon? How did he get through the hacks? No.
Is it really you?
Ma'am, there's still why are you...
Wanda. And I was told you were powerful.
Holy crap! Vision on Vision fight! Oh my god, I'm sorry, I was still blown away with that. And I was told you were powerful.
Oh, this is awkward. Your ex and your boyfriend together at the same party.
I'm sorry, I love
Who
her.
are you gonna choose, Wanda?
Right? I want to know too. They're both kind of fine, I'm just saying.
We can hear you from in here.
Oh my god, it's the same set from X-Men. I'm sick.
You must be destroyed. I know that.
Ooh! Wow. Wow, this CGI, guys. That's all I gotta say. This is... Wow.
They'll thank me for recovering such a valuable asset.
Oh, god, he's such a
Part of that
dick.
Jimmy. You're bluffing.
Am I?
Am I?
Wow! Team woo! Team woo! Team woo! That's right. Y'all sleeping on Woo. Thank you, though, because he wouldn't be able to...
Flourish.
I seriously need him to have his own show. I'm not even joking, y'all. Wow. Cheap shots.
Did you know there's an entire chapter devoted to you in the Darkhold?
I didn't.
The Book of the Damned. The Scarlet Witch is not born, she is forged. She has no coven, no need for incantation.
I'm not what you say I am.
You sure?
Oh, really?
Look around.
Wanda? Dottie. My name is Sarah.
Yeah, it was never Dottie.
My daughter. She's 8. If you could just let her out of her room. If I could just hold her.
Yeah.
Please. What are you doing to her?
No.
You're making her say this.
You did
She's
this.
your meat puppet. I just cut her strings.
Yep. Your meat puppet. My God, these lines are great. They have a lot of reasons to be angry with you, sweetie. Sorry. Now she's gonna hurt you. What a transition, really?
Agnes doesn't live here. You do.
Ralph Bonner.
You're Ralph Boner?
It's Bonner.
Boner.
Yo, this is someone's city. What are you doing? I mean, Wesley wasn't great before, but come on. Wow, Wanda. Wow. You're not really working on this mayor campaign well.
Let us die. What's stopping you? Use your power and do it now. Heroes don't torture people.
So. Okay, there you go, Wanda. It's about time. Ooh, this is cool. Yes, run, people, run.
This is it. We're going in.
Hayward, if you don't set the whole hell down. Her vision can't live without the hex. I forgot. You have to let him go, honey.
Now do you see? You tied your family to this twisted world, and now one can't exist without the other. Save Westview or save your family.
Wow. Wow. This is so dark. She's gonna lose it all again. But she kind of needs to. Someone please take out Hayworth. Ooh, the superhero stance. We ready? Team Maximoff.
Why are you doing this?
It's my programming.
My programming directive is to destroy the vision.
I am the cataract.
I request elaboration.
Always a learning robot.
Stand down!
Ooh, new color! Yes! That's right, Hayward! You talked about her mama! Just like the bitch you are. Hey, Darcy! Been wanting to do that.
Have fun in prison.
For certainly you are the true vision for you believe yourself to be.
Interesting. We're getting some very deep philosophical questions right now.
Upon meeting.
There we go. Now he can exist outside the hex. Oh, you should never let your guard down, Agatha. Uh-oh, this is Thriller. Thriller night.
You can't win, Wanda.
Sure. Sure about that?
Power isn't your problem, it's knowledge.
Yeah.
And I will correct the flaws in your original spell. And you, and your family, and the people of Westview can all live together in peace.
Sounds too good to be true, Wanda, and I think you know that it is. Ooh, this witch fight! We should go, kids. Mommy's having a bit of a moment. This cackle! Agatha, are you sure you can handle this? Because I don't know that you can.
Not at all!
You sure? Ooh, Wanda, you look so good, girl. Uh-oh. No, doesn't matter how much you flap, sweetie. It's clearly broken. Oh, you're looking much better now. Oh. Look who memorized runes. Look who studied in school. Ooh, you got a little too cocky. You got a little too cocky, Miss Agatha.
Runes.
Yeah.
In a given space, only the witch who cast them can use her magic.
And you thought she was just throwing her magic wildly. It's the vision. It's the thing she saw in the stone. Oh, Agatha. She's taking all that power back. Thank you, ma'am. Wasn't yours to begin with, Agatha. Oh, there we go. Full costume transformation. Woo! Check out the costume, everybody. It's glorious. She's not a myth anymore, ma'am.
Just gonna lock me out somewhere?
No, not somewhere. Here. I'll give you the role you chose. The nosy neighbor.
Yikes. That is hell.
I'm sorry.
You're not, though.
You're not. You're cruel.
Exactly.
You have no idea what you've unleashed. You're gonna need me.
It's true.
Yes, I do.
Wait.
That is cruel, though.
Huh?
Thanks for choosing me to be your mom.
Interesting choice of words. Oh. It's like when all these, those different shows end, like The Fresh Prince, the last goodbye in the house.
What am I?
You're Paul.
Vision
Baby.
are the piece of the Mind Stone that lives in me.
There we go.
You are a body of wires and blood and bone that I created.
Okay.
You are my sadness, but mostly you're my love.
So I was about to say, her love. He cried a tear. Your face is leaking.
We have said goodbye before,
Yes.
so it stands to reason.
She's like, please don't.
Say hello again.
Exactly. I love the lines in this show, man. We've said goodbye before, so that means we'll definitely say hello again. I like it. Oh, now we're seeing it in reverse. This is so cool. And so creative.
So long, darling.
Until next time, Vish. Back where we started. But really, you could give Westview a little bit of a facelift. That's the minimum you could give these people after everything. Yeah, they're gonna hate you forever. Just think we should accept that.
And you don't. You don't hate me.
No.
Given the chance and giving your power, I'd bring my mom back.
Fair.
I'm sorry.
Can you say?
All the pain I caused.
Tell them. Tell them, Wanda.
I know.
That's it? You just gonna end on her leaving? Wow. Okay, I feel like that is a logical conclusion. I don't know, I feel like Wanda should have apologized. Is that weird? Hold on, let's just see if we got an ending scene here.
And evidence collection can begin in the hardware store, Miguel. Let's move!
Oh, look at her.
Monica.
Look at you go, Woo.
He looks good on you.
It does.
I was sent by an old friend of your mother's.
Scroll!
He heard you've been grounded. He'd like to meet with you.
Where?
Space. The final frontier. You get to go meet your Uncle Nick. Yay! Y'all, Monica Rambeau gets her own show. I'm gonna flip something. I'm so happy. Okay, so who we thought were Skrulls were not, but people were guessing that the Skrulls were around. That's confirmed. All right, well, it's over, guys. I guess I just kind of want to jump in a little bit more to Agatha, and because this was the episode of more of what she was after, really, with all of this. Because even in the last episode with her walking Wanda through everything that got her to the point of the hex, we never really saw what it is that she really wanted. Now, I mentioned in the last episode that we saw the very first the beginning of the last episode was the trial that Agatha's coven gave her for dabbling in magic that they thought was not proper or appropriate, whatever. And that she obviously ended up killing them because of that. So I remember thinking that it was a bit hypocritical of her to be wanting to like maybe try Wanda, because that's the way it felt at the end of the last episode. Like she was like, you're a Scarlet Witch and it's chaos and it should be a myth. So it almost felt like she was judging Wanda for having this magic, like she wasn't supposed to be doing it. And I thought, well, you of all people should be someone who understands what it is to have magic that maybe is not understood and immediately, demonized, basically, because it's something that's new or different. But we saw in this episode that really Agatha just wanted it. And I had a feeling that that was it, but when she kept asking her, like, how did you do it? Tell me how you did it. That maybe she really was just curious as to how she could have similar power. I did not think she'd want Wanda's direct power. I thought she would just want to know or figure out some way that she could wield similar power. But we saw here that she really wanted to absorb it. Apparently that's what she's learned how to do. That's a super great ability, by the way, to be able to take someone else's abilities or magic, I guess in this case, and make it her own. And that's what she wanted to do with Wanda. But obviously, I think her biggest miscalculation was that she really doesn't understand Wanda's magic either. She thought she did, but we saw in the last episode that her magic is still bound to the rules of their magical world, like using spells and runes and casting. But that is not the way that Wanda's magic works. It never has. Even before she got contact with the Mind Stone, she would just apparently think about something and it would happen. So that's where one of the main places where Agatha screwed up was that she automatically thought that the rules that she knew of magic would apply to Wanda's magic. There was a few things that came up in that scene, and I know when I rewatch this again that I'm going to pick up on more of it, but we saw that she had the Darkhold. And again, I've watched pieces of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've not watched all of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I know that people who watched it mentioned that the Darkhold's come up before. But obviously it's like a grimoire, a spell book, if you will, and it looks like that is where Agatha's been getting a lot of her understanding and knowledge around magic, and that's probably what she found or started to study back when she got banished from her coven way back when. So she felt like she understood and knew Wanda's magic, but I think that Wanda needs some of what's in that book to start to understand what it is that she can do. But yeah, Agatha just needs to understand that whatever that book is telling her, I don't think it fully understands what Wanda is either. So she really miscalculated, and she was cocky with it. But I mean, I love that about her character. Like, I don't think Agatha would be Agatha if she was all timid and stuff like that. I kind of like that she was just being a real jerk through most of the fight. It was, of course, inevitably that overconfidence that ended up being her downfall, because she was so convinced that there was nothing that Wanda would be able to do or think of that she wouldn't have already thought of, that she didn't even pay attention to the fact that Wanda was actually casting runes when they were up in the air. Because I kept thinking, like, Wanda doesn't have bad aim. Why is she hitting the hex like this? Now we know it was all so she kept her distracted so she could cast the runes and do what she needed to do. So you see, all that time with the Avengers paid off. A lot of things came out of the fight, the witch fight between Agatha and Wanda. I think the biggest messages I think that we can pull from it is that Wanda really has not even begun to touch, like even get below the surface of the iceberg that her powers are. And that she does need help. And it saddens me, quite frankly, that Agatha came in with the approach of, I'm just going to take this from you. I mean, how would she knows how it feels. Like, how would she feel if someone came along and tried to take, that's what they basically tried to do in her trial. To just be like, no, I'm going to take this from you because you don't deserve it or because you don't know how to control it. I just think Agatha could have gone so much further if she just said, look, Wanda, look at what you've done. Look at what's going on here. You have this amazing power, but you don't have the first clue of how to use it properly. Let me teach you. But also get you to do a safe way of exploring your powers and figuring out how they work. Because that's what Wanda needs more than anything. But yeah, she kind of just came in and just thought, well, I want that, so I'm going to take it. And of course, you know, she ended up in really a personal hell. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute when I talk about the overall wrapping up of the Hex. But I have no doubt that Wanda will be back when she's over being ticked at Agatha for... I mean, Agatha did give her a bit of a spanking, let's be real. Before she gotta, you know, pull it all together. Agatha did, you know, she did come down on her a little hard, but I think that she needed that. I think that Wanda has felt a bit invincible, and it was good for her to be reminded that there are creatures out there that could be more powerful than her. Now, obviously, at the end of this episode, we saw that not many, right? She ended up schooling Agatha in the end, but she's really no idea how she did it. We saw in the end that Wanda recognizes that she does need to learn more about this, and Agatha pretty much is the only person who she knows of so far who might have the first clue as to what the first step to that would be. Agatha, that's, I guess, we're still talking about Agatha, but she really was the therapist in this episode. Despite her evil plans, she really was the therapist of this episode, but she brought out, like, that moment where she... as she cut the strings of the meat puppets, as Agatha so poetically put it, she said, look, like, this is the reality. Like, this is what you did. This is why your magic is broken, because you created Vision in these kids because you wanted this thing so bad to heal yourself, but it was at the expense of all these people because your spell is broken, because you're broken. It came from a broken place. And so you can't have it like this. Like, this that you created is out of a broken place. That's why there is all of these gaping wounds showing, aka these broken people, these sad trapped hostages that you've had in this whole situation. That acceptance that Wanda had to come to, that Agatha was right about that. And I think that's partly the reason she was so salty about putting Agatha in that mind prison at the end, is because Agatha was right. For all of the mocking and the not so nice trying to suck her powers away, Agatha was right. Like, she literally said no lies. Nothing she said was a lie. It was all true. And these were hard truths that Wanda really had to come to. And I really like that scene where all those people, when they've been broken out of the mind spell, are coming towards Wanda. And, you know, some of them were just like, you know what, like, you know, God, poor Dottie, or whatever her real name was, I forgot, who was like, look, I just want, my daughter has been in her room, she's been locked in her room, can you please just let me see her, can I just touch her, like, you can do whatever you want, I'll play the role, I'll do what you want, just let me see my kid, like, just that realization that Wanda had to come to, because in her mind, she genuinely thought that these people were feeling the how do I explain it? They were feeling the relief that Wanda felt initially with her illusion. But as they explained to her, no, Wanda, we feel your grief. We feel your pain. And like they said, oh my God, that part where the guy said, when you let us sleep, we have your nightmares. Her nightmares would be so traumatic, you guys. Like, maybe it was good for them to have some level of empathy and understanding of what Wanda has been through. I'm sure everyone in Westview understands why Wanda did it. But as Wanda thankfully put, she's like, they probably will never forgive me, though. They probably still hate me. And it's like, yeah, they're probably going to feel that way for a while, Wanda. You forced them into your nightmare. You really did. And what was more is that you kept them separated from their families. And I think that's really where most of them were the most hurt. So yeah, that's my kind of Wanda wrap up. Like, I feel like I'm all over because I'm still very much processing what was in the episode. But I think that Wanda has finally understood that she really does not, as I said, understand her magic, but she does realize how powerful and how destructive it can be. And I'm hoping once she has time to process what she did fully, that she will come back and get Agnes, because I do agree that it's cruel. Like, I know some folks are probably going to be like, well, Agatha deserved what she got. Maybe. For a time, sure. A humbling experience for her, I'd say. I just hope that Wanda doesn't leave her there for long, because that is incredibly cruel. And Agnes doesn't really deserve that level of cruelty. She never hurt Wanda. She had plenty of opportunities to do it, and she never did. So I'm hoping, like I said, that Wanda, when she's got some time to process through all of her feelings and guilt and everything else over what happened here, that she can come back and maybe see if there's some way she can have if we can have a treaty, like just a little peaceful stalemate with Agatha, so where she can learn And maybe, like I said, this moment, this time that Agatha has trapped in Agnes's body, that she'll have a little bit of a humbling around not just, leaping in and thinking she can just take somebody's powers like that. Speaking of peaceful treaties, I'll just touch very briefly on the Vision fight. The Visions fight. That was really cool. Honestly, both the battles, both the witch battle and hers, the CGI was so good. It's so good. But what I really loved was how even when they, halfway through the fight, or when they finally get to a certain point, and when Wanda's vision says something that's actually like intellectually stimulating, White Vision, because he's still, Ultron's creation and still has vestiges of Vision in him, stops and is like, I request elaboration. It was very Jarvis. Like, wait, I'm about to beat you, but can you stop and explain that to me? Because my brain, I need to understand. And so I love that. And then they pause and then they have the conversation, about the very deep philosophical conversation of what really are we? Are we not? Are we human? Do we exist because we think? These existential discussion they decide to have midair in their fight. So I love that in that moment, the other Vision recognized, the real Vision, if you want, basically appealed to White Vision's logic in the way that the Visions think. And he was able to just kind of get him to really think about, okay, wait, am I fighting myself here? Why do I have to destroy you? Should I destroy you? And all that. And in the end, thankfully, we saw the data transfer, basically. Much like Ultron, much like Jarvis / what eventually became Vision, he really exists. He always exists. His essence exists. And so that was now put into, or at least a form of it was put into White Vision. Obviously, it's not the same. And I love that they gave that little example of where they White Vision said, we're both the real Vision, but we're also, neither of us is the real Vision. So it was kind of like explaining without explaining that White Vision will be a version of Vision, right? There is some essence of whatever Wanda created now in this new Vision, but it's still the old body, which has been through different things, which has a different magic that created it. So it's not the same Vision that was the original. Just like the one that Wanda created wasn't the original. And then as we saw, White Vision basically took off. So we don't actually know where White Vision is. Just coming into the end with wrapping it all up, Wanda recognizing that she did have to let go of her family that she created. That was some really nice scenes with her putting the boys to bed for the last time. I thought that was a really nice goodbye. It wasn't dramatic and painful. It was very much just an acceptance. And when she was calm, the kids were calm. She could just say her goodbyes and her goodnights, I guess you could say, rather than goodbye. And then, of course, that beautiful exchange between her and Vision at the end, where Vision asks her, after going through this whole thing with White Vision, he turns around and asks Wanda, like, what am I? Like, now that he understands that he originated from Wanda this time. And I loved her explanation. It was very, very well put about how, like, the part of the Mind Stone is within me, and that's what created you. But you also are my love, but you are my grief, because that's what you were created out of. But you are also your circuits, but you're also bone and your blood. Like, it was just a beautiful description of what this Vision really was to Wanda. That was a really sweet scene, and, I liked seeing that Wanda finally has that emotional closure. I do hope that we get to see her interact with Monica again at some point, which will just dovetail into Monica. She really wasn't a thing in this episode, but it was understandable. This really wasn't about her. There wasn't much she could have done, but it was still nice to see her kind of come out and get that acknowledgement from from Wanda that, Wanda understands now what she was trying to do. And I really like that she still had that empathetic moment with her at the end where she said, I don't hate you, Wanda. I understand why you did this. Like, if I had the abilities that you had, I would have brought my mom back. I think that Wanda kind of needed to hear that somebody understood where she was coming from and that it wasn't all from some cruel place. I hope those two get a chance to interact and do something in the future. But that also, if we're just going to keep talking about Monica in the future, love that ending part there with her and the Skrull and her being summoned to space to go meet with Mr. Fury. I am very, very happy to see that Monica is going to be pulled more into the MCU and that the first step, her being able to interact with Nick Fury and to go up to the space station and be able to potentially get more into what's been going on with Captain Marvel, etc. I think this is something that Monica really needs to progress in her own healing. And like I said, obviously she's got her new powers, and what better place to test how they work than in space. So very excited for whatever that means coming next for her. But anyway, I've talked enough. This episode was really nice. I think it was a nice cap off to this season. It felt a little bit like, it almost felt a bit calm compared to everything else that we've seen, but I like that they wrapped it up with Wanda really just kind of coming to that acceptance of what happened. Where she's going and what's going to happen next is a big question mark, and whether or not she should suffer some sort of penalty for what she did is a big question mark. But again, as I thought at the end, who could contain her anyways, right? Even if they wanted to jail her or something, there's nothing that would be able to keep Wanda in prison. So maybe it's better that she just goes someplace and, I don't know, meditate for the next 50 years. I don't know. So I've talked enough. I feel like I was a little bit all over the place, but I was still, it's very hard to talk about this right after sometimes because I'm still processing. But I do think it was a good ending to this idea of WandaVision. We might have a WandaVision part 2, but what that will be and what that will mean is a huge question mark. And there's a lot of greenfield of imagination for what we could do with that. So I really am looking forward to, if there is a season 2, I think it's going to be really, really interesting. And I really still hope we get some of the same players back. Guys, this was super, super fun. Like I said at the beginning of the video, unexpected gem. Really, really enjoyed this series. I really hope that you enjoyed watching along with me. Please let me know below what your feelings were on this episode. Do you feel like the punishment that Agatha got was fair? And also, where do you think White Vision is gone? Do you think that him and Wanda are going to somehow meet up, and what that's going to mean? And any theories you have about Monica going forward now that she's been formally invited by Nick Fury and the Skrulls, please leave that below. I have so many things I want to discuss with y'all in the comments, all right? So please leave that below. Thank you so much for watching this series along with me, guys. It has been a real pleasure. And if you liked what you see, if you made it to the end of this long review, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me. And if you want to see more from this geeky face, please click subscribe. Until next season, potentially for some of y'all, see ya.